Hello.
Hey,
How are
Hello.
you?
Sorry I popped up in your last moment of the other one.
No, that's fine. I'm
I'm
you know what?
technically challenged these.
Um, so hey, look at this. Soprano ones and my screen is filling up. That's wonderful.
it's funny how I try to log on early, but when I pop up, there's like already 6 people here, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's great. Well, I just pulled it up. I just pulled it up. So obviously I was
Okay.
coming from our last little all right. Susan, please be careful. Are you actually driving or you're a passenger? Okay, thank you. All right. I don't we
She's driving in the mountains.
Yeah, we don't need people to have to sign liability forms to join, SOCA. Good. Okay.
I'm a passenger. I'm not driving,
Okay.
but
Very,
this
very
is
good.
the only way I can get a signal because the internet here is so crappy. So I'm
Okay.
trying desperately to upload my stuff, but it keeps failing on me. So
Okay. All right. Well, I assure you, you will not be kept out if there's a problem. So just be safe. Good. So let's do a couple of things just to kind of get ourselves as focused and centered as we can be after a long day. Obviously, it's late at night. Um, just a little bit of vocalization here. Let's see if we can't kind of get out of our speech mode and bring everything just forward, kind of obnoxiously forward. Let's do our meow, 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 meow. So to see how much you can pull, I mean, not intensely, but just give real direction to that sound. So it's right up here in front of you. We'll start on D and we'll go up a little bit. So it's going to be meow, 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 meow. And really, meow, meow. Here we go. Ready and go. Meow, 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 meow. 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 Two more. And last. So it's so tiny up there, almost like a little Mickey Mouse voice. Meow, 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 meow. Good. Maybe just a little bit of a massage, just a quick little squeeze that face back together. Right, we've all been speaking in our very spread American approach today. A little light tapping. Good, good, good. See if we can just give a little energetic release to the neck. Don't do anything, just imagine, don't do anything. But just a release so that the neck is just floating at the top of your spine, completely free. Again, don't do anything, just imagine it. Good. Good. Let's do something with a little bit of vocal energy here. Let's start it in B major. So we'll start down here. Don't give any weight at the bottom. Think about the space for the top. So we're gonna go. So a nice little bounce on the way up. And you can group it in twos on the way down. Let's try together. We'll start here and we'll work our way up. And ready. Last one. I should not suddenly go to the mixolydian mode. I apologize. If you would like to join me for that last one, you're welcome to, just so I'll play the F sharp for you. And me. Good, thank you. I apologize. That's what happens on your third section. Great. So let's continue warming up, but also looking at making some music a little better. Let's go to the Thanksgiving postcard, please. Let's go to "'Tis the gift to be simple." 'Tis the gift to be simple. Now, before we do some singing, I have an important question. Please look at with the fifth system there. It's measure 15. Measure 15. You are in the middle of the phrase that goes, "To bow and to bend we," and then you have a word, S-H-A-N-T. Now I'm going to give you two pronunciations, and I want you to tell me which one you like. Just give me a one, give me a two. Pronunciation one is shan't. Pronunciation two is shan't. So show me in your camera, do you like one or two? All right, you are the most divided of all sections. Okay, so the word that we want to use in this piece is shan't. Shan't. And there's a simple reason for it, and that is this piece is American through and through. The community it comes from was an American creation. The melody, American. So just if you have any question about that, and obviously our soprano ones do, if you have any question, I'm sorry, I didn't think to mention this earlier. The word is shan't. To bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed. If we say the shan't, we just sound a little bit like we're heading over to Great Britain, okay? Cool, so make a note of that if you have any question. Let's go ahead and sing through this. As you're singing this, remember that each little phrase has its own beautiful shape, right? It has its own beautiful shape. We don't want to land on low notes. We don't want to pop out high notes just because they're high, right? We don't want to land on low notes just because they're low. See if we can have beautiful shape throughout. For simplicity, let's sing the whole thing both repeats. Remember, when you make your recording, the soloist will sing the first time through, you sing the repeat. Soloist sings the first time through the second half, you sing the repeat, okay? But for right now, let's just sing it all for the practice. Here we go. 1, 2, breathe. I want to speak through it now. Now, we speak a lot at the beginning of something, right? We speak a lot when we're learning a new piece. Get the notes out of there, focus on text and rhythm. That's not why we're speaking this right now. We're speaking this now because this is It's the only piece we're doing this way. It's unison, unaccompanied. This piece is incredibly exposed, incredibly exposed. Now, if we were all in the same room together, right, we would be able to work all these things out, all the slight variations. We would figure it all out organically, yeah? But we don't have that luxury. You're all going to be singing individually, so we got to make sure we agree. So I want to speak through it. I want you to speak with me, and I want you to compare your pronunciation, your diction with mine, your rhythmic placement of final consonants. Compare what you're doing with what I'm doing. And if we're not in agreement, one of two things has to happen. Either A, you go, oh, hey, wait a minute. I see what he means. I see what I was doing. Let me change that. Or raise your hand and say, hey, I got myself a question. I'm not understanding something. But we definitely want to address those issues. Because again, you know, when Zonia puts all this together, any of that stuff not together is going to cut through like a knife, right? So let's go ahead and speak through "'Tis the Gift to Be Simple." Again, for practice sake, we'll do it with repeats. Here we go. 1, 2, go. 'Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. 'Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, we'll be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed to turn. Turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed to turn. Turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. So are you in complete agreement with me? And if you're not, that's okay, but let's make sure we work it out. For instance, at the end of the first half, we have the word delight, love and delight. Where I've asked you to place the T might feel early to you, and that's okay. To be honest, if it was if we were in a live setting, I may even adjust that, right? I may go, hey, wait a minute, you know what? I like what they're doing better. Let's do it later. In this virtual setting, you just got to make a decision. I think it's stick with it, okay? So make sure you place that T where it belongs. Do you notice when I'm speaking how I kind of do it in a little sing-songy voice, right? I'm trying to give shape even when I'm singing, speaking. For instance, 'tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. I'm not saying 'tis the gift to come down where we ought to be, right? I don't want to punch that. 'Tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. I have a little diminuendo there. You can do that even as you're speaking, right? So, yeah, okay. But all that is to say, this piece is not difficult, but at the same time, it's incredibly exposed. So we need to really agree on all that. So just keep it up. And that'll be a really lovely addition for our Thanksgiving postcard. Any questions about this? Okay, cool beans. Let's go please to Thanksgiving song. Still in Thanksgiving song. So what I want to do with this piece is go through it. It's got two parts, right? It's got a verse, it's got a refrain. You're the melody. Well, not quite always. They do hand off the melody to the altos at one point. So you have a little bit of harmony. But for the most part, you're on top, you're the melody, as you would expect. But let's go through this, and then we're going to put it with the video. We've got the accompaniment, and we've got my conducting video. So we'll also go through it with that so we can kind of see, what it feels like in context. So for right now, let's sing the first 2 verses, which means we'll start at the beginning and we'll go over to the middle of 3. So here we are, very beginning. I'll play those 4 bars of introduction and then you're in. Pause there for a minute. It's 2 times through the verse, and your part is, for the most part, exactly the same. Slight variation if you need an extra note for a word or something. One thing that I want you to understand, this accompaniment is lovely. It's very busy, and there's a reason why it's so busy. Right? And Mary Chapin Carpenter is just picking away here, and it's beautiful. Can you hear me?
You're really cutting out a lot. I
In
can't
and out
hear
of
the
lots.
piano, and I can't hear your voice.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's cutting out right now?
Not right now, but it
I can
was.
hear the dog.
Yeah.
You can hear the what?
The dog. Somebody's dog.
Sorry, that's my life.
Okay, well, let me know. I saw, yeah, so let me know if it goes out again. It's been good for the other 2 sections, so hopefully we'll get through this. By the way, I won't play all the notes on the piano again. Sometimes that causes problems. But the point is, we don't want to get caught up in the busyness of the rhythm. We want to feel the broader half note. Both the refrain and the verse have 4 chords, right? It's a guitar piece. You know how guitar works. They play a chord, they change measures, they play a chord, and even as they're picking up and down, they're still within that chord. So you want to think, grateful for each hand we hold, gathered round this table. So think the big pulse. Chord, 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 chord. Don't think this. Ya da 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 da. It's too busy, it's too clunky, okay? So, and hopefully you'll see that in the video with my conducting. Good. Any questions about your notes, though, for the verses? No? Okay, let's go to the refrain. So here we are in the middle of page 3. And what I'd like to do is start at the top of the page, though, so we can work the transition. So can we start on the words come in, away from sorrow, and then we'll keep going. Come in, away from sorrow. Here we go. 1 and go. There's your refrain. And the next refrain will be largely the same for you. Any questions about these pitches, these rhythms? Okay. So now we have an instrumental interlude. Let's go back to where you come in again at the bottom of 5. This is where the altos have the melody. So you have, you have a little harmony, a little descant to what they're doing. At the bottom of page 6, though, when we come back to the refrain, there you go back to what we just sang. Let's start at the bottom of 5. You start on the melody and then you immediately break away to something different. Here we are at 53, bottom of 5. 1 and go. So measure 76 is just a little coda, it's just a little tag. So really for you, it's that third verse where you have, some mild harmony, but the rest of this, you do the same thing, which you would expect because you're the melody. Any questions about this stuff before we go to the video? Good. Let's try the video, see how it works. For the other 2 sectionals, it's worked for me to play the video, share it, and then also play your part on the piano. It's actually been helpful. People can hear the difference. I'll try that. Hopefully that comes through for you. Let me make sure I've got this up. Okay. And share. All right, so from the beginning, it's coming at you. Go. And Okay, so how did that come across?
Well, the sound is very delayed from your conducting, but
The sound of the video?
yes, the sound is delayed from your conducting. Yeah.
That's yeah. I'm sorry. I don't know. You guys are just cursed tonight, because when you go watch it on your own, it'll be fine. That must have been something weird with the share. I apologize. That's not very helpful.
It's not your fault. It's technology.
Oh yeah, no. But that was the point of. I wanted you to have a chance to see it all. So again, we won't do that again. I hope that's not going to plague all of our videos. We'll hope that was just a one-time thing. But you want to think of this in that larger half note feel. We want to have that gentle quality come through. If you're curious about the recording, the accompaniment, I recorded that on my father-in-law's piano. And there was a reason for that. Obviously, Sean did all the recording on a lovely instrument in the church. For this one, we wanted this to sound as much like home as possible. Knowing that people over Thanksgiving this year probably won't be doing nearly as much traveling as they have. I don't know if you've been watching the numbers, but we're not through this yet. But so to create that sense of home, even in just the music we're making, I wanted to use a little piano, a little upright piano. You know, so many people have those little upright pianos, even if nobody in the family plays them anymore. And they're a little bit out of tune. Some are more, some are less. There are a couple of notes in there that are like, oh, that's a little out of tune. I think it sounds as much like the family as possible. Most of us don't have Steinways right in our home. So anyway, I hope that will be part of the charm of this piece and the nostalgia. But that's why it sounds the way it does. So great. One thing I want to point out, part of what will make this beautiful is if we all commit to those final consonants. We need to have final consonants. You know how every phrase works. Ya da 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 da. Whatever the final consonant is, we need to have them placed clearly, but we need to do it in a popular style, which means very lightly. Okay, this is not Hexenlied. You know, we're not going to do the same kind of final consonant, but they do need to be there. So as you're prepping this, pay special attention to that. Give each final consonant, but it just needs to be just enough, right? If we have 40 women turn in videos and it's just enough from each one, it'll be perfect. But make sure it's there. That's what I'm saying, okay? We don't want it to be overwrought. We wouldn't do that in live performance either. You know, we need to have a popular music bag of tricks and a formal classical music bag of tricks. And some of them are the same, some of them are very different. Good.
Rob, one question. Do you want that consonant on the 4?
Like, give me an example. Page number or
Almost all 3 beats. So let's say 6, middle of 6, living. 1, 2, 3, off.
Yeah. To lead a life worth living. Now, and that's actually less common. Typically what you have is this 2/4 bar, right? For instance, back up a page to page 5 at the bottom. Grateful for what's understood and all. You know, it's this. Understood. I hope that's coming across. What I'm not doing is this. Understood. I'm not doing that, which, by the way, would be utterly appropriate in a different context, right? So again, this is not a judgment call. This is, I mean, it's not a judgment in terms of value. It is, in this style, we need to have a final consonant, but it needs to be very light. So I'm mostly we want the precision so that the beauty comes across. We don't want to have 100 different T's and 100 different D's, etc. Okay. Any other questions about, that's a great question, Claudia. Any other questions about this? Okay, let's please move towards our Veterans Day postcard. Let's go to We Will Remember Them. And remember that Veterans Day stuff's going to be due in, what, a couple weeks? Yeah, it's coming up. So, so what I want to do is I want to look at your refrain, I want to look at the bridge, and I want to look at the end, and then we'll go back and work it with the video. If the video is not working out, just shout at me. I won't make you sit through the whole thing, okay? Good. So let's go over to page 4. Page 4. We'll start right on the downbeat of when you come in, so it'll sound like this. Etc. Here we are. So here's the downbeat of where you come in. This is the middle of page 4, measure 19. Now, we've been through this a bunch. I suspect that's pretty familiar. You have another refrain coming, and remember, it's almost the exact same. The only thing that's different of your second refrain is the very end, where here on page 5, you've got a dotted half note, so it's 3 counts. The next refrain, you've got just a half note, 2 counts. Let's go over there. That refrain ends on page 10. And this leads us into the bridge, into the middle 8. So you've just come out of to off, and that's where we find ourselves. Let's go through this bridge. I think your job is in some ways a little easier because you get to sing the whole time. The altos and second sopranos have to do some oohing and ahhing. But here we are, standing shoulder. 1, 2, 3. Big rallentando, you see the conducting in the video where I actually go to the 8th notes for that last 2 beats. So in other words, you get emotion for every single word you sing there at the end. One thing I want to, any questions about the bridge? Notes? Remember the word loud, proud. It's easy to be early on those notes. So make sure we wait for the downbeat. I do want to do a little bit of speaking, though, to make sure we're in agreement. And of course, it's over a page turn. So I want to look at the bottom of 10.
Is anybody freezing up or glitching like I am?
No, Jackie, if you can hear me, everybody looks good. Okay. And by the way, Jackie, you look good to me too. I mean, you're fine. You're working fine. Everybody is in motion on my screen, okay? So let's go to the bottom of 10. I want to work over to 11. Specifically, I want to work that final T on the word unite. So let me demonstrate once. Let me see if I can do this right. So 1, 2, 3. Through our singing we unite, as it was then and still is now. That was right. In the cheat sheet, what I recommended was maybe don't breathe between the word unite and the word as. It looks like there's a ton of space, but it's weird. If you try to fit a breath in there, I just wonder if the phrase is going to stay intact. So take a listen again. Specifically, where do I place that final T of unite? 1, 2, 3. Through our singing we unite, as it was then and still is now. That is why. If I were singing that, I would wait to breathe until after the word now. Okay? Can we speak that together? So look at the bottom of 10 and memorize the words through our. Focusing here on the top of 11. Bottom of 10, top of 11. 1, 2, 3. Through our singing we unite, as it was then and still is now. That is why we are inviting you to sing with us. We will remain. And at the bottom of the page, you are the only ones who break. Soprano 2, alto 1, alto, they sing through, but you break following the word us. Any questions at the top of 11? That's another one of those places where it's going to be exposed, and we just don't want to have. By the way, it's so wonderful to have so many soprano ones tonight. This is great. You're all hired, but we don't want to have 8 different T's, right? We don't want that. Good. Let's go to the end of this piece, please. Let's go over to page 13. Now, specifically, I just want to talk through this to remind you of what your responsibilities are. At the bottom of 13, measure 64. First thing you do is sing, then you cut off on beat 3. Measure 65, you listen to Sean play a lovely 4/4 measure, 4 beats. Then we have the 5/4 bar, and you think this: 1, 2, 3, we will. Right? 1, 2, 3, we will. And you can think the 8th notes through those first 3 beats. 1 and 2 and 3 and we will. That's what we got to have in the bottom line, okay? Your part is more difficult because you have the 8th note dotted quarter. We. But if you think the 8th notes in the beginning 3 beats, it's easy. 1 and 2 and 3 and we will. Okay? All right, let's go to the video. Hopefully this one will work. If this is not lining up, the whole point of this is conducting and music. So if it's not lining up, just scream at me. And Jackie, hopefully, yeah, just scream at me. Yeah, this is also an opportunity. Of course, when you're recording, you're going to have lots of time when you're not singing because of the soloist. So, practice what it means to, pretend like you're engaged, to look like you're engaged, even if you're taking a break, which, by the way, I understand. I played an orchestra. I took a lot of breaks. All right, here we go. Let's see how this does. Part here at the beginning. We already have the trumpeter in. We'll be adding that. Okay, I didn't hear any shouting, so I suspect that video did a little better for us. Good. So tell me about the ending. Is it making more sense? Good. I see nodding heads. Nodding heads is good. Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Can we do the ending one more time?
oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Let's do that. In fact, let's just dive right in. Here is the ending. So we should be starting at the top of the page, right at essentially at measure 61, I believe it'll be here. This is 61. A lot of it comes down to, just understanding you've got 3 weird sets of rests. Well, not weird, but you've got 3 sets of rests. Measure 64, you have to rest beats 3 and 4. Measure 65, you have to rest 1, 2, 3, 4. Measure 66, you have to rest 1, 2, 3. I mean, it's a little odd combination, right? And resting, music is generally easier when you're making noise. When you're not making noise, that's more difficult because you've got to really be focused on when do I come in next. So the challenge is totally understandable, but we just want to make sure we have a clean, finish to this piece. I think people are going to like this piece a great deal. Between this and Battle Hymn, I think our Veterans Day postcard is going to be very lovely. Any other questions?
Yeah, I was late. I was early on measure 45, coming in after that second refrain. Could we go over that one more time?
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Let's do that transition. So let's go please back to page 9. Page 9. And we'll do the pickup here to 27. So we'll do the "We will remember them." And part of it's also the page turn, Francis. That page turns are always bad. But when we turn the page, remember it's going to be 1, 2, off, standing shoulder. Here we are. Here we go. We will remember them. Pick up to 27. 1 and 2 and go. One, two, off. Does that make more sense for you? Yeah. So again, it's, if all music was a continuous scroll, it'd be a lot easier. But yeah, that's how that works. Okay. Before we leave this, any other questions? Okay, good. Yeah, is it safe to say that you might feel like a certain burden has been lifted today? Yeah? Joe gets it. Okay. Yeah. Because, and I noticed that none of you, at least there's a couple I can't see, but none of you are in your performance regalia. Oh, you are, Fran. You okay?
Yeah, don't talk about relief. I still have some.
Okay. Because each sectional has had one person who is completely done up, ready to go. good luck, get through it. But the nice thing is, come midnight tonight, Hexenlied is off your plate. And I suspect the Veterans Day postcard is going to feel like, you know, sitting back and, you know, opening up a brew, you're sitting on a patio, you know, it's just going to be an easy experience. So you definitely have already lifted your weights. You've already eaten your Wheaties. I think the rest of the semester will be, will benefit from that. It really will. And, you know, for Christmas, we have several things. We have, you know, volume, but much of it is well, I hope utterly enjoyable, and definitely very different in terms of than Hexenlied. So let's actually, in the few minutes we have here, I want to go to Christmas. I didn't put it in the email, so I hope you've got it with you. But I want to go to Christmas, and specifically, I want to go to the White Winter Hymnal. We've already introduced the meat in the Christmas program, the 4 barbershop pieces, and then we started introducing Christmas Time is Here. Those are the most you know, challenging. Although I mean, I think they're it's an I hope it will be an enjoyable challenge. But I want to go through White Winter Hymnal. This is just utterly fun. So let's start White Winter Hymnal. Let's skip the first page. Let's go right over to page 2. Now, just so you know, we do the same thing 3 times in this piece. And if you know the Fleet Foxes recording, that's a great example. We'll do a couple of things differently, but our instrumental group was really able to do some neat stuff based on how Fleet Foxes approaches this. But I do want to point out to you that you are not the melody. I know you're soprano 1s, and you feel like, of course you're the melody. You're actually not the melody here. You are a harmony. So in terms of the way you approach, just keep that in mind, right? You want to be slightly under volume. No, I mean, not under supported, but just realize it's the soprano 2s in this piece who are the melody. So here we go. Here's the soprano 2 part that you probably sing when you listen to the recording. Right? That's the melody. You are riding a little high on a harmony. You know, all 3 parts oftentimes have the exact same shape. So it's just important that we know where in the chord do we fall. Let's start on page 2. Can we do this on a neutral syllable, just on a do? Very light. I don't want to get caught up in the 8th notes. Etc. Here we go. Just on a do. And 1 and go. And you're going to do that 3 times, okay? So who here is familiar with like the Fleet Foxes recording? Oh, good, just 1. So only Jackie will have to break bad habits.
One of my favorites, but then we also did like a version of the pentatonics. I sang that, so.
Yeah, well, Soko did like a small ensemble, right? Was it like a quartet or something? Yeah.
It was just 3 of us, me, Bernie, and Janie.
Okay. So a couple of things, and I don't know how that trio did it, but a couple of things I want to point out. If you would look, please, at page 3. Top of page 3, second measure. Notice I put the little schwa under the word T-H-E. That's because I want you to use the schwa sound. The, not the. The Fleet Foxes in their recording, they say, and turn the white. But that makes most choral people start having little twinges of pain. Okay, it's the white. I've even checked with Jennifer Piazza Pick. Jen is my go-to for all things diction. I hope you guys meet her someday. She's a fantastic musician. But yes, it should be and turn the white. So all that is if you know the Fleet Foxes recording and you sing along with it, don't do that, okay? It's the white. The other thing I want to point out back here, just go back to page 2 for me. Again, you do the same thing 3 times. So please, when you're singing this, only create a break if there's a rest or the black line telling you to make a break. So the downbeats, these quarter note downbeats, make sure we don't squelch them, okay? For instance, I was following the pack, all swallowed. It needs to be pack with a K, but don't squelch it. Don't do this. I was following the pack, all, no. I was following the pack, all, in the sorry, all swallowed. I was following the pack, all swallowed in their coats. So pack, don't squelch. Give it a K, but that's enough. Coats, give it the full length. Coats, with scarves of red tied round their throats. So coats, throats. Just keep it a nice quarter note, right? Don't squelch it to an 8th note. To keep their little heads from falling in the snow. Okay, I've got that marked in. So just pay attention to that stuff. Don't create a big break unless there's a rest or the black line telling you. Let's sing this now. So let's go back to page 2, and this time let's sing. Here we go. 1 and 2, and here we go. So, yeah, and like I said, you do it 3 times. It's not terribly difficult. Any questions about it? Okay, I do want to point out one thing. Right where we stopped, you see at the bottom of 3 how it says solo. We are not going to do it as a solo. What I'm going to be looking for is essentially a small ensemble. I'd like to have 3 high voices from any of the sopranos, soprano 1, soprano 2, I don't care. 3 high voices sing the upper octave, and 3 low voices sing the lower octave, okay? So if you want to be in that group, get that in your voice. I may not even take auditions. If I just, in mid-November, I may say, hey, who wants to sing that? If I see 3 hands go up, we'll just do first come, first serve. I don't care. If we had 8 hands go up, we'll do auditions, okay? But I do want to point out one more thing. See where it says C correction? What's in the score here is wrong. Don't learn that part. If you go back to your cheat sheet, right after your cheat sheet is the white winter hymnal correction. And it's just the first 3 bars here. The rest of the stuff in your score is fine. But these are the correct notes. And again, if you've listened to the White Winter Hymnal, the original recording, you'll say, oh yeah, those are the notes I recognize. For some reason, our arrangement, I don't know why, they've got a couple wrong notes in there. So that's the stuff we're going to sing. That whole thing, okay? So keep that in mind. If you want to do that little bit, And it may be the kind of thing where you record the whole soprano one part and then send a second recording in just with the ooze, right? That'll probably be simplest. But just keep that in mind. Before we go, any questions? All right, so look for your email. There's some exciting announcements coming out. Thank you very much for a good Tuesday. I appreciate your work. Good luck, Francis, getting your Hexenly done. And we will see you all on Sunday. Yay! All the Sisyphus stone is now released from you. No more Hexenly. All right, good night.
Bye, y'all.
Hey, don't forget about Funky Dreidel, Rob. Come on.
Well, how would I forget about it? Yeah, is that hard?
What, okay?
It's not. It's not Hexenly. Yeah.
Oh, I love Hexenly, but Funky Dreidel my demise right now.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Well, all right. See you. Bye. I'm ending. Good night.